automatically brought stuff with me.
Wow. Sounds like a permanent one. That's even better.
To the CAPS Advisory Committee meeting. You have to remind me when I'm supposed to say yay or nay, or I need to compliment or anything like that. I don't know all the details. Do that. So, okay. So we're calling the meeting to order, and the first thing is to have some public comment. We do have limited time, so I think up to 5 minutes.
5 minutes each?
5 minutes each. So I'm looking forward to hearing you guys. Come on up to the podium. Sure.
They were free.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So my name is Jack Chang. I live at 528 Zircon Way. And I want to thank you all for everything the CAPS committee has done and also continue to do for our town. We are truly grateful. And thank you very much. So I'm here to share and announce to our fellow Superior residents that there is an alternative option to the currently proposed rec center expansion over at downtown, and which we all know that it will cost us taxpayers about $49 million if we take into consideration of all the debt service payments and annual capital maintenance costs and over a 20-year period. And not to mention that the Rough Rider Sports Club leaseback agreement on that will take away majority access of that facility, basically. So the alternative option that we are proposing, sorry, my nose kind of went off there. Okay, in which we call it the Superior Community Center and Library. The advantage of our proposed Superior Community Center and library are the designs and the amenities are exactly what our town residents want. And then this actually came from some of the feedbacks coming from CAPS and then other community input meetings as well. And then second thing is it will only cost our town less than $10 million to build. And number three, it can easily be paid off through our town's general fund. And this means that this will not incur additional tax burdens to our fellow taxpayers like us. And the best part of it is that the whole 30,000 square foot, or it could be more or it could be less, depending on what we all as a town decide on. It could be, so the whole 30,000 square foot of our Superior Community Center and Library will be solely dedicated and accessed by our town residents. And we would love to share more about our Superior Community Center Library proposal with our town residents through our community input meeting. That's going to be on August 15 at 5 p.m. at the fire station meeting room. And that's all I have. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. If you guys have photos, you can send them to me and I can throw them up.
We can project.
Oh.
I mean, they're on my laptop, but I don't know if they're high.
If you send them to me on email, I can get them up on.
Phil and Kelly Watt from 103 First Avenue. Hello. We're right there in the corner. They're all in my Google Photos, which are password protected, so I'll figure out how to do this. But what's we would like to propose a public-private partnership on a art installation for public art at the corner of First and Coal Creek, which is our property. It's the first thing you see when you drive into town. You come in here. We recently had a big elm that died, and
Excuse me, stop
Yes.
it just a sec. You said that you want to do this where? What was the address again?
103.
Not yours.
Yes.
Where the public-private.
It is our property.
Oh, okay,
yes.
sorry. So it's
First and Coal Creek, the southwest corner.
Okay, First and Coal Creek. Okay,
You
sorry.
probably passed a dead tree on your way here.
So
Yes.
it's a big old elm tree and it died, and we would like to carve it up, and we thought it would be a great place to put a nature sculpture / a welcome sign to the town. Maybe welcome to Original, or welcome to Old Town, or welcome to Superior, or something like that. We're open to wording. We're in the process of soliciting bids from different sculptors, and we found a local one. His name is Bongo Love. It's great.
He's cool.
He's from, where's he from originally?
I think Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, yeah. He's a master carver. His whole tribe does carvings, and he's taught many carvers in the Colorado area. We can send you a link and stuff later to his Creative Carvings Company website, and there's an article in the Daily Camera when he did some carvings for the city of Lafayette. So we don't want to be left behind.
Can you say his name again?
Bongo, like the instrument, and love because he loves bongos.
Okay. Okay.
What else would you like to add?
No, that's okay. I just missed his name, so.
Could you give me his website?
Sure.
Sure. It's,
Where is he
well,
at?
the best
You
one
could
is
Google him and he's
Creative.
the only one that comes up.
Creative Carvings Co.
Carvings.
Co.com. Yeah, Colorin.
Do you have a proposal in mind?
Well, we actually just received a written proposal from Bongo Love and his kind of
Business partner.
foreman business partner, who actually used to run Parks and Rec in City of Lafayette. So it's kind of interesting. That's apparently how they met, was the work at the lake out there. So so we have an estimate from Bongo. There's not a sketch yet from him or anything, but the idea was we had wanted to incorporate wildlife that we've seen in and around our neighborhood, which is a lot of rabbits.
Our Nest camera just caught a raccoon
Yeah,
on the front
we
porch
caught a
last
raccoon.
other night. Maybe one of those.
Yeah, squirrels, lots of birds because we have so many birds. And then also maybe just for us, our dog Annie, because she's really pretty. But really, I wanted something that would say, welcome to Superior or welcome to Original Town, and that has always kind of been part of the idea. So we thought maybe it's something, and especially because it's right here on the corner where the painted house is, and we thought it could become maybe a little artistic intersection and add to that. So we thought we'd bring it up.
Is it right across the street from the paint?
It sure is. Yeah, we're right there. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll send you, Katie will send you links. Does that sound good? With photos of our property and also the link to his website and maybe some details from what we've gotten from Bongo Love so far.
Sure.
And go from there. Does that sound good?
So can I ask you how you thought of us? I mean, were you familiar?
I was on ProStack right
Okay.
when CAPS started forming, and then I almost jumped ship. Now I'm kind of sorry I didn't, because it's like y'all are very like
happy that
you're-
you know that
Yeah.
you know about us.
Oh yeah. So I was on ProStack all last
Okay.
year, and
Yeah.
so I just had kind of seen this and
Yeah.
and just thought, I don't know, maybe this would be something you'd be interested in.
Oh, and thanks for sharing. Thanks for
Yeah.
thinking of
Yeah.
involving the community.
Oh sure, yeah. Well, it will be seen by the community, and also I just thought it would be so cool to have something that is the entrance to Original Town, because there's nothing that I've seen that really says Original Town unless you go up to Asti Park and read what's in there, and it would be big. So yeah, I think
Is
it'd
the
be
tree
cool.
big enough? I mean, we have a neighbor who has a camera in their backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and it is amazing what he's captured. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had elk, he's had coyotes, he's had foxes, obviously rabbits and
Yeah,
that
all the
kind of
normal.
Teenage kids.
I don't know, we don't see those on the Facebook, but, I mean, would it be big enough to actually, because there's a group of deer and elk that comes in the open space
Mhm.
back there.
I mean, what we've gotten from the quote from Bongo Love, or kind of what he said, is he sort of lets the tree speak to him, because that's what he does.
Okay.
So the tree is not, well, you'll see it, we had it trimmed to about 12, 13 feet. So the height is pretty good, but it's fairly thin.
Mm.
So I don't know what we could do, but that would be something, we're totally open,
Is
so.
it standing?
Yeah.
Or is it outside?
Oh, no, it's standing. Yeah, we just had the canopy taken off because we didn't want it to be a danger to, falling branches
So
and
you're
stuff.
thinking totem pole? I mean, is it?
We'll
like
send
a-
you pictures of the
Okay.
tree. Yeah, that way you can
And we
see
can
it.
send you pictures of his
Okay.
gallery, the kind of
Yes.
stuff he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
really
All
cool.
right.
So
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing that link. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Can I add something real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot the most important part. So the whole proposal for the Superior Community Center and Library, we are proposing that it will be built on Town 15
Oh, okay.
property, yeah. And then so we will be submitting an offer for Town 15 for the proposal.
Okay.
Can I
Yes.
ask him a question?
Yes.
So, is because it's also the next gen campus, right?
Yeah, the Verizon
And so, could that be separated from Summit Academy, or is it either with
It's gonna
Summit
be-
Academy or?
It's going to be
not?
two separate buildings.
Okay, but
two
let's
separate
say
buildings.
for whatever reason,
Mhm.
Summit Academy did not build there.
Mhm.
Would you still be wanting to build your thing there?
Oh, yes. So aside from Summit Academy, the whole innovation campus also include a dyslexic school
Uh-huh.
and an assessment center, a literacy assessment center to support the dyslexic student population, and as well as a professional development center to get the teachers properly certified, like for special ed education, stuff like that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we can, well,
Yeah,
but, so
probably
we'll,
not.
so we'll
Yeah.
definitely, probably discuss it and then put it on the agenda in another meeting, in which case we can have a more in-depth discussion about it, so you don't have it on you on the agenda this time, so.
But you can come up and make a public comment.
You can come up and make a public comment.
About that?
Sure.
You can make public comment
Whatever you
about
want.
anything,
About
but
anything.
we all have to be aware this is not yet a formally submitted proposal. So it's probably not wise to spend our committee time
Right.
on it.
Okay,
But
we
you're the
discuss it
public.
at all?
No,
Just
we
what
have,
you said?
well, we have a full agenda, and
Okay.
so we'll put it on the agenda, for another meeting, in which case we can have a full-on discussion about it.
And ask him
Yeah.
very specific questions about
Um,
his, at that time?
I think that's probably got to be discussed with staff. It's
Okay.
not a formally submitted proposal. The committee has not been asked to opine. So until the time it is, we probably should stay with the formally submitted proposal
Mhm.
that we've been asked to opine on. That's my
Andrea?
opinion.
I agree, I think.
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good.
But the public can come up
Yes.
and say whatever they wish.
I'll wait until he gets put on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, so now do I call the official, or just go on with discussion number one?
Go on.
I just go on with number one. All right, guys. All right, so the first number on our agenda is to discuss our budget for the next year and how we came up with our budget numbers and some examples of some of the projects.
So just to kind of let you guys know, we have actually already put in $50,000 into the budget for next year for the consultant to facilitate the cultural arts district and the public arts master plan.
I'm
So
sorry,
you guys do
Kate,
not-
how much?
50,000. So you guys do not need to ask for that.
For that specifically, okay.
We as staff have put that in there for you, so there's no reason to go up for, a proposal or anything. The board will see it in their budget discussions.
Okay, so that was the 50.
Mhm.
Okay, and then we talked about the main events. And then, based on Kelly's proposal, we're looking at 15 to 20,000 to put on 3 events. Is that right?
Pop-up events?
The main events, so we originally talked about it, isn't that about?
Yeah, but I don't think they're pop-up events.
No,
Okay, I'm
these are the
sorry.
main events.
Different
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
This
I
is
think
for the
they're
main
different. They're
events.
really, we start Yeah. now and.
Okay, how much did we say on that? 15 to what?
15 to 20.
20,000.
Okay.
And I think that goes for, all the things that we've talked about, maybe,
Music,
right.
entertainment,
Music, food
vendors,
trucks, entertainment,
Herbies,
vendors.
mostly marketing.
Yeah, well, what are you feeling, because you talked to Kelly, so that's.
That was pretty, marketing is the huge.
Karen, would they all be at downtown Superior?
We still have to negotiate the location.
Yeah, that's a big discussion item,
Yeah,
actually.
that's
right.
something that has to be determined. Where is the best place?
I have gotten several requests for an event, an adult-oriented event, an adult, Paige and whoever was at Wildflower Park, but that's a kid event. So some event at Wildflower Park. Maybe music? but
Well,
This
we
is
do, we
different
wanted to, this would be
That
different.
would be different than the main event. All the main events,
Are at downtown Superior?
they will be in either original town or
They
they'll
will all be at the same location?
They'll be in the same location.
Okay, that
Because we
was-
want to establish continuity, and that was really Kelly's recommendation, is not to move it.
In the location?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are there no main events in 2018?
No, there are none.
Okay.
But we really like the idea of like the line dancing or something cultural. We always talked about doing that at Wildflower Park.
Yeah, that could be considered a pop-up event.
That will be a pop-up.
That would be super fun, because the main
Seriously?
event.
We're gonna corral the goats.
Yes.
Yeah, there's enough space there
to do it.
Right? That would be good.
I mean, I think the main events are designed
have
to
to
be
describe
family
it,
friendly,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be line dancing, that was just an example of something that we.
So-
Yeah, I mean, I would say
Pulled up,
line
but-
dancing or what are the, I mean, I have also received a lot of feedback that, what happened to main event? What happened to block parties? How come we're not doing anything? So
Well,
the line dancing or whatever would be a pop-up?
yeah.
I think something musical.
You want
It's
music?
just crying out for musical on that great lawn.
Okay.
We have any
And line dancing is musical. You know,
Mhm.
any iteration of musical just sounds fun.
So we looked at the calendar a couple
Yeah,
of meetings
we
ago
did.
to try to figure out when we could do it. I know there was competition with the singing duo, the
Oh, Jeff and Paige.
Jeff and Paige. Is that gone already?
Yes, they did it like
Yeah,
2
so
weeks
maybe
ago.
we want to do it.
What are you talking about, pop-up?
Yeah,
Oh.
maybe the line. I just say line dancing, but an event at Wildflower Park. Something super simple, right? Because we already have the sound system if need be. But hopefully, if we have enough money, we could hire someone who would have their own sound system.
This summer?
Maybe, don't you think? Could be a fall. It could be a fall fling.
Well, you've got a Chili Fest September 8th,
Mm-hmm.
and really nothing after that until.
October.
Is there a
Yeah.
pop-up event, though, in this year's budget? You're talking 20
We're talking about it next year, but I
No,
think
we're
we still
talking
have some
about
money
next
left
year.
in this year.
Something in mid-September, I
Yeah,
mean,
mid to late
late
September.
September prior to Oktoberfest.
What is Oktoberfest?
The HOA Oktoberfest.
HOA thing.
You know,
Oh,
it
that's
might
right.
be really, depending on how many muralists we get, we might need another event. You know,
Could be.
like in Wildflower Park, and I think it would,
It could be a
It-
fun thing.
yeah, and it might behoove us to do it after Chili Fest.
Yeah,
You know,
we'll see what
after
we
we
have
get
left.
Andrea's Boy Scout troops, like involved in tracing, you know, we might be really behind on our numbers.
Claire was gonna do that too. She was gonna contact her troop and.
Oh, yeah.
So if you think maybe there are too many events, you know, and people are distracted because there are too many to choose from, possibly you could have the line dancing at the Oktoberfest event, sponsored by CAPS.
That's it.
You know,
Well, the
it's got, because it uses Purple Park, right? So
Yes,
they've got
but
a big
it's-
area.
It's kids. I mean, if you
Well,
want
it's
to do adults. Well,
There's beer
it is
served.
adults too, but it's kind of, it's an odd time. It's like
From
2
1
to
to
5. What is it?
From 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Oh, Oktoberfest is a kid event?
Well, it's
Family event.
family.
Everyone takes great
naps Associated with beer.
Yeah, I do too.
So the Oktoberfest HOA, I think it's only like 1 to 3.
Well, what if our event was 3 to 5?
Sounds good.
Is there beer? at
There
all?
is beer and hot dogs, beer and brats.
From 1 to 3.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh.
So they'll be ready to dance.
Yeah.
When is Oktoberfest then?
October 13th.
We'd have to coordinate with HOA.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
wanna-
I could get you guys in touch with Lisa, who runs the events over there.
So, do we want to consider this? Do we go forward and trying to do a date and put this together?
I'd still like to see something, we talked about this, at Superior Marketplace. And,
This year?
well, or next year.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about this year, because we still have something in our budget, and I was thinking that we could just do a pop-up event potentially to help us finish the,
Yeah, because we didn't do
Demure
parties,
boards.
we didn't do parties
because
in
we
the
didn't
park.
do parties in the park, and it might be a good opportunity to do more squares.
Well, if we do the squares, and we'll get to that down here, but,
But you're not talking paint, because that's a whole nother thing.
right.
Exactly.
So you're just talking,
We're
That's a
talking.
big.
right, I thought you were,
job.
yeah.
You're not talking about painting, are you?
Oh, I
No.
was, is that too much?
Yeah.
That is
Oh, that's too much.
Too.
Oh, okay.
Those are, yeah, as we will.
Very-
Okay, never mind. Okay.
You were there, weren't you?
Yeah, she was.
I know, I was exhausted, I, you know.
Somebody we
was
may
fun.
like you was horrible.
Yeah, I
Should we maybe focus on the 2019 budget and then
Yeah, so let's go back to that. Okay.
Yeah.
this remaining?
Okay, so I think there, as Karen mentioned, we're trying to decide some other areas where the main event could be. We're even considering maybe not calling it the main event if we don't have it on Main Street in downtown Superior.
Katie, do they even have to get that specific as to what they are, or can you just put a line item in for 15 to 20K for up to 3 events?
These will, I think, have to have actual presentations to the board.
Okay.
For the pop-ups.
Yes.
Okay.
That are
And-
outside
No, for the main
budget?
events, not the
For the
pop-ups.
main event.
Yeah, for the main event. And
Oh.
Back to the main event.
Talking about the-
you also have to remember, you will have your $5,000 again next year as well. And then you'll have your 50 that we have put in the budget. But anything outside of that, you will have to actually come and do a presentation to the board relatively soon. I mean, it can be as easy as what you guys did last on Monday night as a presentation, bullet points of this is, what we're spending the money on, this is why we want to do it.
Is that because you've already gotten the budget numbers too, Matt?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a lot more money than,
Other committees have?
yeah. So you'll just have to, the consultant fee's a little bit different.
Right.
But yes, because it is quite a bit more than.
So what is the normal amount, Katie?
For what?
Like if when they do the Creatures of the Night, for instance. So originally we were starting with 3 main events, which would be, let's say, 15,000. Artistry Registry was 500. The pop-up ideas, what did we talk about that? We had a dollar amount for that. Was it 1,500 per? Remember we talked about that, how much we wanted?
Per event.
What-
For the
Yeah, for
pop-up.
pop-up
So it
event?
depends on what the event is. And
thought
actually,
it
we
was
have some
more.
pictures.
Oh, here.
Oh, yeah, I have pictures, okay. So Katie, you think that requesting basically that additional
Be like 5.
20,000 or whatever,
Well, yeah, I'm just saying.
25,
you
will be
you
too
guys-
much?
No, I mean, you can request anything you want. But I just want you to remember too that you have the $5,000 as well.
Okay.
Which you could use for.
That
Which you're saying would
your-
cover up to 3 pop-ups
Yeah.
plus the artist registry?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And we don't have any other uses for it, is there?
Right.
No, that's why
Yeah.
all the committees got that, is so that they could do some of these extra things, OSAC does Trails Day and.
What about the crosswalks painting with the elementary school in the spring?
How much is that?
That'll just be paint. Your stencils weren't that much. I think the whole project cost you under $500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The main event's gonna be a big thing, and both volunteer-wise and money-wise. And I don't think we should tie it to ranch capital like we did this year.
Oh, no, I think we also need to
I
look at
think-
some alternate places.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to plan it on our own without relying on them. One of the things we were relying on them for was about $8,000 in, event management fees, because we had somebody that we knew of that could manage the whole event, like get buskers and musicians and food carts and little knick-knack, carts and things like that, and know the areas and what needs to be blocked off and the whole shebang for like $8,000. And Ranch Capital said, oh yeah, well, we'll undertake that. And so it was a partnership originally,
Oh, right.
and then they kind of dropped out. And so, we're left, this is I don't think I've missed very many meetings, but I think
wasn't
this is-
that
we were
like-
left holding the bag about, what do we do without the participation of Ranch Capital?
But wasn't that a kickoff, like a ribbon cutting event? That's a little different than the main event block party.
Are ongoing,
Yeah.
yeah. So this 15 to 20 for the main events, this is completely independent of Ranch Capital, and at this point, I think a lot of us are definitely giving a nod to putting it on this side of Superior and making it a place-making opportunity, not just a party. So I think we
Well,
really
and
need
your
to
point-
focus.
Budget, my point is budget.
Yeah,
Do
and that
we
is what
need
he
to
said.
So I think this is
$8,000
independent,
for each main
not
event?
not even
Just
considering.
somebody to organize all that, because it's a
According to
huge amount
Kelly,
of work.
we didn't
Yeah.
need that.
Mm-mm.
She didn't seem to think that there was a need for that.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
I mean, Erie does it, and Louisville, they don't have somebody paying to do all that.
To organize it
I
for
don't
them.
think so. And it's small, we want it to be, it's small. It's not gonna be like huge. 'cause
I would just encourage you to, you have to take into account the existing things that are not going to go away. 4th of July, Chili Fest. In May is the Morgul. That's no longer town sponsored, but it takes up a weekend. So you got to fit this in. And as you know, they're more work than they sound like when you're thinking about them. So 3 seems like it would really preoccupy your whole year. That's a lot of planning.
Wasn't Kelly doing the planning?
Yes, we don't.
Yeah, she's taking it over.
That's what we
Well,
pay
just
her.
give-
This budget
That's what we pay her
includes,
Yeah,
for.
just give,
Kelly
I
marketing.
just say,
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
I
3 amongst everything else you're wanting to do.
That is a lot of things going on, and if we did them all in the summer, I mean, we might be overloading the town if we had 3 of them. Because it does seem like there is always something going on, which is great, but adding 3 more might be too much.
You also have to remember movie nights.
Yeah.
There's 3 movie nights.
Right, there's
a
movie
year.
night, there's 4th of July, there's Chili Fest.
There's Flatirons
Morgul.
concerts every Thursday, in the
Yeah.
summer.
Where's that? At the
Flatiron
mall.
Hall.
Yeah, but,
okay.
I mean, I know they exist, but again, we're trying to do community building placemaking in Superior.
Right,
Yeah.
So
but you
that-
are competing. For example, Louisville Street Fair is very
Well,
popular, so
sure,
on
that
Friday
is a
nights in the
huge
summer,
competition.
That's
Yeah.
huge competition. So if you want to have impact,
You gotta do it on a night that something else is not already
do
scheduled.
a
Make sure
couple
you know your
well rather
calendar.
than 3 sort of average, that kind of thing.
The
Just
fall
thought.
seems kind of empty.
what seems empty?
The fall. I mean, like, if you're thinking farmers markets are really their most bountiful, probably like 3rd or 4th, the end of September. Now, the HOA Oktoberfest, October 13th.
Well, we were to tap into, fall is actually a good time for craft fair, like artists fairs. right?
Artisans fairs, yeah.
Artisans fairs, and so if we wanted to, link this to our artistry registry, then it would take on a completely different,
That's interesting.
personality.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a valid point. I mean, maybe it is too much, and maybe we put that more into the pop-up events, but,
That last
I don't-
idea was really interesting,
What was
about making it artists and crafts people and tied into your registry, bringing them sort of into the effort as well as introducing them to the community.
I think that was always kind of our idea, not farmer's market, not food. We didn't want to compete with that. I think we wanted to bring in some local bands, some local talent, music, just a few food trucks, some local artists, and, small.
Good.
She had thought she would have like 25.
Plus, it's unique. It's
Oh,
not
25
been
seats,
done.
that's not so small.
25 what?
For the
Kelly
main,
originally thought 25 then.
That was the original idea, but again, we didn't have a budget, so it was difficult to establish what we were gonna do with it.
Should Kelly come and talk? So should she give the presentation, you think? Is that something?
I think, yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
need to chat with her, because she won't really know what to present unless she knows what everybody, because everyone has a different idea of what they think.
Yeah, we need to have a
Why?
meeting and have her, this is the fellow that I met on the original tour. Good for him. It's such an exciting day.
When is
to
the
help
Chili
give us a
Fest?
personality.
September 8th.
So something in
Are we
October?
talking now about?
Hey, welcome, you remembered. Have a seat.
The main event, or we?
No, that was
There's a man in the room.
So it doesn't need to be called the main event anymore,
It
right?
does. I
It
mean,
does.
that's what
Okay.
they wanted.
That's the name.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we talked about maybe not calling it the main event anymore.
wasn't at that meeting.
Well, I was at that meeting, and the
We-
only thing is we can't copyright it. We could call it the main event,
Yeah.
but it's not like we can
But
copyright
there's
it.
many, the point was that there's tons of main events, and we might be better served to come up with something that's a little.
Well, I think it was because it was going to be on Main Street.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
I-
I think that one of the members of the board was saying that.
Yeah, it was, you know.
We couldn't have a main event. Call us a main event in Superior,
There's so many-
Colorado.
Yeah.
We couldn't have main event
Put a spin on
t-shirts, or we couldn't have
Superior.
main event
Yeah,
mugs.
I think
Okay.
It's that other people can have them too.
But our consensus, I think, was still that we liked main event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
I
have
like it.
T-shirts and everything.
I like it.
I mean, the fact is, what trademarking means is others can't have them. But
Right.
everybody around the world can have a main event T-shirt.
We can call it a Superior main event.
Yeah.
You can-
Well, we could have it on 76th Street and call it the 76 Streakers. You know, you don't have
Oh,
There's a wide, yes.
They would be lining up.
We'd have,
So, okay, so soon then we need to have the presentation next
Yeah.
month potentially. So we need to.
Yeah,
reach
I'll
out
look
to
at the
Kelly
calendar and
just
see.
With Kelly.
And then we'll have to post maybe a subcommittee meeting about going forward with that. Okay, so, and then so you've got some pictures, so here, the $20,000, you know, that's a generous amount, could be divvied up among a few projects, and so Daryl put together some of the things that we've all been talking about, but there's just examples. So, which one is this for? Oh, so, okay, for the utility, you're here just in time.
Yay.
Yay, because we were on a walk, and he's like, you know what I always thought was a good idea? You know, utility box. I'm like, you need to come to our meeting. So, yeah, 15 square feet for an average. So there are the smaller ones and the bigger ones. So the benefits is the high visual impact. You know, it's intriguing and interesting. And the civic pride, I mean, we talked about maybe having a competition, you know, versus having a professional, because but I like the idea of the competition because, you know, because that's going to involve the locals, and they'll go looking for it versus it just popping up. But, you know, I don't want to, you know, 5-year-old win the competition and, you know,
They have to look good.
having a stick figure on the, right, sorry, you know, oh, maybe
There has to be a
Andrea's daughter would win
You know,
that.
they need to be juried.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so, I thought, you know, if we did go forward.
What are you wrapping?
Utility boxes.
Utility boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, so here's pictures.
Right, there they are.
But you,
Oh, yeah, I know Loveland is just, every utility box in Loveland is like a mess.
They're so great,
It's
and you
wonderful.
really feel having the community do it rather than,
a professional.
okay.
I think we should just split it.
I do too.
Split it,
So
yeah.
Can you still get into these?
I think
Like if you have to
Oh,
fix
yeah. Oh, yeah.
something. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
otherwise, we risk
It looking schlocky.
really, really looking like it. And I think there's a place for both.
Yes.
And we want to elevate art.
do.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, not everything.
Maybe one by the
Not
community.
everything should be done by an 8-year-old. That you know.
Right.
Well, I think you could just maybe have an art contest at the high school or the
Yeah.
the K through 8, and let the kids be
Right. I mean,
creative.
there are a
I
lot
don't
of
know how many
talented
boxes there
schools.
are in the city, but
Maybe do
Right.
one by the community or one, you know.
One at a school.
Yeah.
I have a
and-
question. When we're talking about doing it by the community, we're saying the community person designs it, but we get it professionally wrapped.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So
Okay.
It turns into a digital
Okay,
piece of
yes,
paint,
because those
yeah.
have to be done professionally, yeah.
Exactly.
But a
Okay.
digital
Okay, now I feel
representation
better.
of a poor piece of, I mean, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
but-
saying? It needs to be a,
But like Karen said, it would be juried.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Oh,
Right,
now I
all
get
right,
it.
I see what you're
Because
saying.
I've seen people out there actually painting the boxes, painting the paintings on the boxes.
You can go on like Loveland's website or Longmont's website, or I think Windsor does it too, to look and see. They have a whole program. I think that you can go and pull the information.
Okay.
It looks
From their
nice
website.
when it's wrapped. When it's paint, it starts to look dull and it chips, and then that's a maintenance issue going forward. This is not a maintenance
True,
issue, so you
true.
can just rip, and it looks shiny.
Sharp.
Yeah, it
They're
looks
really cool looking.
nice.
Yeah, and it's not that they couldn't be redone, some
Right.
years in the future.
Right, I don't know what the life cycle is of one of those,
like
but,
them
so who,
But particularly
logistically, how do we get permission? Like, who do we get permission from to do this?
Well, I think you'd have to ask the utility people first.
Public Works probably.
Our Public Works.
Yeah, I mean, we could look at that. I probably have to start with Alex and see who actually does them. And
First, you
then-
have to get it approved in your work plan.
Yeah.
Right, I was gonna say.
I just wanted to,
It's
yeah,
just simple to
just
put
see
it in
it.
your
This is
work plan.
preliminary, yeah.
We
Right.
don't need to know the details tonight.
Yeah,
Just-
we need
you
to
just
Well,
need
what
to
we
sort
do
of-
need to know is, like,
Yeah.
how many are in very highly visual
Well-
places, so we know.
But you can, yeah, I mean, you can do that and just, will this fit into your budget of your $5,000?
Of the $5,000,
To
right.
ask for.
So, okay, so 5 small ones, we're looking at $2,000, which is, well, more. So it's $15 square feet, that's the printing, that's.
Average cost.
The average cost to do it.
So maybe we do their own.
That's still, even if that's at the low end, so. Okay, so.
Is there a utility box close by here?
Oh, there's lots of them.
Well, the reason I
Oh, you
was
mean to
thinking,
walk outside?
the reason I was thinking is if we're, potentially going to make this area part of our park district, it would make sense to have at least one of the boxes done here.
Oh, yeah, oh, I'm sure,
Original.
yeah.
Although
Oh, I think
certainly
we
must
would
be
spread
some
it around.
original,
Yeah.
Yeah, in very high traffic areas.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is one example of a pop-up, and then the other example, okay, this is funny. Gerald just came up with this, so.
Well, didn't we went back and forth with prairie dogs and gates, didn't we?
Well, this is different.
Okay,
So wait till you
okay.
see this.
I wanna
She's
know
got
what
it
the
backwards.
stick part
Okay.
is.
Yeah.
This,
Shark in the park.
is there another picture that shows them? or
I just think
Wait, go back?
Yes,
What
go
is?
back. Okay, so these
No,
are
it's wrong.
cut off.
Oh, okay.
This was on Cape Cod, so sharks are, more relevant for them. So they have these cut out sharks. And I guess businesses or people paid to get the shark and then painted them, and then they put them around town. So we did the prairie dogs and just had those displayed around town. I
I think
mean,
it's brilliant.
I think it's awesome.
Well, we've talked about this quite a bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's so fun. It's something a little bit,
They
It's
need to be,
whimsical.
they need to be in
Whimsical.
clusters though to make an impact.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so, but this is, so I think when we were talking about the prairie dogs, we talked about like the bigger things.
And this is something you would need a board approval on.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay.
we really have to make it.
They debuted that little fuzzy guy.
They did,
on
and
Monday.
I don't know if it debut or not, but it did, and yeah, so
Yeah.
this is just something,
Right.
We need to really put this together.
yes,
All of this has to be approved,
yes,
everything.
I mean,
But this is another something that would be super easy.
And at the bottom of the stick could be a mound of dirt.
Yeah.
Right.
That's,
What do you mean easy?
Well, it's true. I'm not an artist.
not
so I'm-
They, what are they painted on wood? Are they painted on
They're wood.
vertical?
They're wood
So, yeah,
cutouts.
We have to
somebody
get
has to
them
cut it, and
created.
when we were cutting those squares, that wasn't that easy.
I know, that wasn't that easy.
I think it has to be, and this is easy to say and harder to do, investigated to the point of who and how are these things made and requiring some professional guidance.
Oh, yeah.
Because then they become the real deal, instead of, a little like for sale sign prairie dog that somebody's painted, or our
have you
experience
seen
with.
campaign signs with
Yeah.
one strong wind?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So I
We're
think if we,
decimated, yeah.
and again, we have to decide how and who, but my belief is we need to investigate it and put together an absolute proposal that has some questions answered, and then go to the board.
If somebody sponsored each one,
Yeah.
does the business go on the back, and how do they get their advertising dollars out of sponsoring that?
Well, there's a website, sharksinthepark.net.
Okay.
Maybe reach
Right,
out
so
to them.
I don't think these particular ones were not intended to be like, to replace like the cows in Chicago, right? Which are bigger and stationary and more permanent,
No,
right?
it's a
So I think
traveling thing.
this would be just something fun in the.
Like the blue sheep. That would be more like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The blue sheet that would appear all over the place.
I'd be happy
In
to
England, in Europe.
Oh, great.
and give you some feedback.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, so that we could at least have some hard data to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, didn't we talk about them rotating neighborhoods and almost like a scavenger hunt kind of thing, so that people would have to look for them, and so like in the fall they'd be at this neighborhood, and then in the winter they'd be in this neighborhood, and then this spring they'd be in some other neighborhood, so they would travel around and people would have to find them.
Yeah.
And are these flat or are they three-dimensional?
We don't know yet.
Yeah,
We don't know.
I don't think we need to get into
Okay.
like the details
We
right
just
now.
need to
Yeah.
research. That's what
Yeah, this
plan,
was-
guys.
Yep.
But it's fun to.
This was just an example of, when we're asking for money, this is like an example of a project that we would want to do. So some fun things to involve the community and,
And we need to put a price on it.
Yeah.
oh, did she put a price on it? Right, so.
Here's your line dancing.
And then the other pop-up activity would be what we discussed earlier is the dancing or something cultural in the, there you go,
In the park.
in the park.
That would be fun.
And,
So these are actually, okay, these are pictures I took in Evanston. Has everyone seen these?
We don't have to.
Okay.
You have
So
five-
this on the
5,000.
left, so this is an abandoned storefront on the main street in Evanston, Chicago. And so they had artists decorate, it's just paper, on the inside of the window. And so instead of having for rent and all this ugly stuff, they actually adorned the street with art. So that would be super inexpensive for us to do. I think we're trying to get in touch with Brixmore to see if that would even be possible for us to do in some of the empty storefronts in
That would be
Superior
great for the
Marketplace.
high school students.
Yeah, yeah,
do.
exactly. So it could cost us almost nothing except for supplies. And it would be, I would love to have a high school do it.
Wouldn't it be
Really,
great?
we've always talked
Just
about,
down the street.
yeah, but it's like.
Katie, are you in touch with Brixmore, or who's in touch with Brixmore?
Claire Dixon might be?
Well,
Claire Dixon
We
might
have a
be.
contact with them.
Oh, you
oh,
do?
Claire.
Yeah, that has to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm thrilled about this idea. We just need Brixmore on board. And so, and maybe, if Brixmore is willing, we could actually have maybe a pop-up gallery event in one of their spaces, like the old Sears appliance store, or maybe the old.
Did you get this that I sent you guys today?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I sent that to Daryl too. So,
Okay, in
Yeah.
Boulder on Pearl Street, here, I'll just send it around. And it's the coolest thing ever. There is a pop-up art gallery on Pearl Street.
And the
if you-
stars.
in the old Star.
And the
Yes.
old Star Closing, and the art in there is just, it's stunning.
Wow.
It's just pretty amazing, actually. So maybe we
And
need
they're
a
all
field
local
trip,
people.
but
They're all local.
they're
people.
all local
There's
people,
a
and they
lot of
only
way of
pay
sculpture.
$50 a week, maybe, or it's very inexpensive for the artists. The downtown, the Boulder Downtown Development Association, all the stuff is on there, and I can even reach out to them, but it is a pretty cool
It's a
place.
great idea.
But if you're thinking about like the Sears appliance store, Dick's Sporting Goods,
Sports Authority.
Sports Authority, yeah. Something to make it vibrant and different, to bring in those people into Superior Marketplace.
Yeah, so I thought this would be a really great idea for next year.
Right, it's too soon.
And then maybe, Marcia, I think this is a good tie-in, again, for our local artist registry. So if we were to get that up and running, or even when you were are you talking to them individually? I'm not sure how this works.
To artists individually?
For the artists, when we're getting the artistry registry going, is it something that's just on the computer, or do you say, oh, hey, you're an artist, go to our website? How does that work?
Oh, well, I have all the contacts that I had before
Okay.
when we were, seeking the sculpture. So I have all those contacts, and beyond that, people had, we've been to the Loveland Sculpture Show and a few other places. And so people have been giving me, and I've been collecting business cards of artists. And Daryl and I are looking at the format, how the format has to be. The best format, I'm not sure how we can knit this particular example of an artist registry into the WordPress that Daryl likes as a format. But, for instance, this one is the Pittsburgh Artist Registry.
Okay, so we'll look at the details later.
It has, room for artists and musicians and writers, and it's really user-friendly in how you page things up.
Okay,
So we have a database that's separate from this right now.
Okay, I was just saying that maybe if we were to investigate this pop-up gallery, that we would use the artists from the artist registry to tap into for our.
Oh, from the downtown pop-up that's there now?
Yeah, so I thought maybe
done.
that could be something,
I mean,
yeah.
well, it's done and done, because.
Okay, yeah, I thought that'd be something that you
They are all
could-
members of the Open Studios.
Okay, so Marcia, you have it.
And I have all that information.
Okay, yeah, I thought that would be
The
a good
local
thing
arts
for you to type
organizations,
in.
their membership people.
Yeah,
I
so
know
will
all
you
that.
read, so have you read this article and been to the?
Did you?
Did you go to the pop-up?
Oh,
artist?
yeah.
This is the one that
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They're
this
beautiful
makes sense for you to
pieces.
kind of,
You
yeah.
know, Beautiful pieces.
Okay.
I'll go
Stunning.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Stunning, really. But nothing we can use for outdoor art at this point.
In Superior?
I actually,
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Yeah. Oh, you're finding them in Superior? A
Yeah,
call
these are all the
A
local.
call for, are you doing a call for
Or
artists in
Elizabeth.
Superior?
Well, I haven't done a call for
Oh,
artists
gotcha.
in Superior.
Got
No,
it.
we
It's
need
our
to do
goal.
that. But we have a big database of basically Colorado artists.
I see.
And when we go to advertise for them to contact us through a website, it's going to be specifically the Superior group.
I got you.
All right, so let me go back. The last thing that was in that picture next to the, just the adorned empty
next to Evanston?
storefronts, right.
Okay.
Across the street from that was a previous empty storefront that they turned into an auxiliary library. So the picture to the right was a small library, and you cannot believe how much they squeezed in there. It was packed. And they had computers, and they had
used
teams, and
bookstore.
they had, yeah. So this one on the right was facing this, and that was, yeah, an abandoned space, and they made it into an auxiliary library, and they had chairs and couches and computers, and they had kids sitting on the floor. I mean, it had every demographic represented in there, in this empty, was not
Have
empty
you been
anymore.
to the bookseller on Main Street in Louisville?
Yes.
The used bookstore?
Yes.
It amazes me what they get and just the variety in that tiny little
Well,
space.
do you remember what Louisville's original library
yeah.
was? It was tiny. It was just a little piece of the City Hall building. They've expanded twice since
yes,
then.
that was just an example. Okay, so so for this $20,000 for the 3 pop-up activities, that included
No,
any.
no, it's, the pop-up ideas have to be within $5,000, I thought.
yes.
Right, so
Right.
these were, right, so if we were to ideally do all 3 of them, it could cost us up to $20,000.
No,
but-
15.
No, 20, so,
There's a difference between the main event, which is actual
right, but on
events.
number 3, oh, I'm
Right.
looking at a separate thing from you guys.
Separate line items.
I'm looking at a separate thing that I.
Separate line items for main event versus pop-ups.
Right, wait, I'm looking at something else.
Can we
that
help?
Printed out previously.
You know, the prairie dogs on it, and the ones in Chicago, by the way, and in Arlington Park for the racetrack, and those were horses, there is no cost essentially to us, because the idea is that all the businesses and Girl Scout groups or whatever will take on all that cost. And if you want to be fixing,
Right.
chiropractic, then in order to do a prairie dog on a stick, you will pay $200,
Right.
or whatever it might be.
We
So.
have to have a I mean, there is some.
Right, there's
In terms-
organization, there's a lot of work to do with it, but the idea is that there really wouldn't be a cost to it.
Here is what
Or the cost would be covered.
here's my
Mhm.
opinion on this. This committee has lots of enthusiasm, no shortage of ideas. But executing all of this is, you guys are going to be busy every minute of your lives on CAPS. Forget husbands and children and houses and vacations, whatever. So you're going to have to focus on several impactful things among the ones you discussed. What you're really doing is putting together, which has to be done here shortly anyway, is your work plan for 2019. I would worry less about the budget. I think Katie's set the budget. She's got 50 grand in for the big ticket items, 5 grand the allocation for some other smaller events. And she said that if you're going to have 1, 2, or 3 main events or whatever, those have to be fleshed out, described separately to the board for separate approval when they approve your work plan. Understand, there's all this, there are discretionary funds in every budget. So you don't have to worry about any of this.
Well,
in
I think
terms
that's
of
what
budget.
we're doing. So
Okay.
we're trying to flesh out the ideas that we want to pursue, and so when
For the
we
work
flesh
plan.
these out and what the costs are, so that when we narrow it down, we're gonna know exactly what
But what
the
I'm
budget
saying is, focus on the idea and the merit of the idea as to what you want to accomplish and be less concerned about money. Because
So don't we have to ask for the money? So if we decide within the next 2 weeks, yes, we absolutely want to do the pop-up prairie dogs, that's going to cost $5,000. Isn't that something that we specifically have to ask for?
I think Katie said you'll have to come in front of the board separately.
So that's
Have
what we're
that
kind of doing. So
allocated
we're
separately.
talking about some ideas and then.
Katie,
how
do you
much-
mean before the budget process or as part of the work plan process?
You know, I guess it'd be best to get it in the budget this year, but you can always ask for money afterwards too.
Okay.
You know.
Okay, those were some great ideas. We threw out some budget numbers on how to accomplish some of these things.
So I guess
we
the
need
question to Katie, budget numbers are due.
Yeah.
Do you have what you need?
Yes. I think I have what I need. So,
What's our grand total?
well, you guys will, I mean,
Requesting 50,000 for the consultant.
that's already done.
It's like
That's
75
done.
grand about.
That's done. Your $5,000 is done. Like, those are 2 things that are already in.
You already have
your line items.
$500.
It is a good point. The main events do need to be approved in your work plan for next year to ask for the money. I'll need to completely clarify. But, and I
Could you
can
talk to Matt about
Mhm.
funding one at 5,000?
Yeah.
So for a total of 60.
Mhm.
So 50, the 5 everybody gets, and 1 main event. And then above that, they'll seek
Sure.
discretionary funds.
Sure.
Right.
They
I can
do
do that.
smaller
It's
projects.
an average of
anyway.
5,000 for each one of the pop-up
Right.
activities that we mentioned, so
Sure.
we would, yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry, say that again.
So all of these ideas that we talked, with the exception of the one on the left, like the paint a prairie dog or the utility boxes, they're probably going to be about $5,000 per pop-up event. So we can discuss which ones we want to pursue.
Well, but those are different. To me, there's the main events, and that is.
They're
the-
totally different. I'm
Right,
talking about
yeah.
just the pop-up activities.
But
Not-
they're
the
both
main
about
main
the
event
same
is
amount.
not a pop-up activity.
Right.
They might cost
So-
about the same.
You
This
think
is
they
what-
would be the same? The prairie dogs on a stick, the idea would be almost no cost to that. The utility boxes might be, if we do 3 of them, might be $3,000, right?
Right.
Okay. The art in the windows with the high school kids, which I think is a wonderful idea, is basically free.
Yeah, that would be discretionary.
I mean, there's almost no cost to that. The line dancing,
A few hundred.
500 maybe? You know, some kind of,
Pay for the
yeah.
person to come and do the training.
Do the training for the line dancing. Yeah, so it looks like all those pop-up things can be umbrellaed under $5,000.
In that $5,000.
Yeah.
Along-
in your $5,000 that you get as a
Along with the
committee.
crosswalks.
All pop-ups under the 5, discretionary 5 grand?
Or not, but the
Well,
pop-ups.
but you guys can pick and choose.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay.
you
Right.
may not.
Right.
And if you want something above that, then that's when
Then
you
that's
go
when
and
we
you
make the
present to the board
presentation. Right. Yes.
to ask for more money.
And
Okay.
isn't our leadership summit included in our $5,000?
It is.
And
if
how
you
much
guys
was it?
want to
Well,
go.
that was kind of expensive.
It was like $1,200 if you all want to go again.
Right, okay.
So
And so that's 1,000 right there. So we're gonna have to,
I think we should ask for the utility boxes and then make a presentation about it. Okay, well, okay, so let's, okay.
So how much money did we decide?
You know, it's a give and take. It's, you know, might as well ask for, if you can document what you're gonna use it for,
I
ask
think
for
that's
more.
achievable.
And they'll
You
just,
better
they'll
ask
say,
for more,
what's
because
that?
Totally agree.
You know,
It may
Yeah.
not be achievable.
Right.
To
I think
Sandy's
we need-
point, not to be too concerned.
Yeah. Right, we're asking
A
students.
good idea will be funded.
Yes.
It will be.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're set on that. Okay, so, all right, it's already 7. So the next one is, the discussion, our ongoing discussion.
No, we didn't decide where to do the main event. Don't you want to go through those, that PowerPoint?
I don't think we have to do
Yeah,
that.
I don't think you need to make
Okay.
a decision now,
Okay.
like the specifics on that.
For next summer.
I will set a meeting with Brooksmore and kind of talk about logistics with them and see
Awesome.
what their rules and regulations. I've worked with them before with some raises, so I'll figure that piece out and I can come back
And
in
Karen
August.
actually might mention that a little bit in your, are you gonna do an update on what you and Claire talked about? Did you talk about where the main event might be? No, it's totally different, okay. But we might be able to look at that. Okay, so the next discussion is about the rec center. I think we need to make a decision as a committee on how to go forward in discussion about the community rec center. Do we want to make more recommendations? Do we have more recommendations?
Have we made one already?
I think we have made one already, but I wanted to go around and see what everyone's opinion is before we, made an official stance.
I don't think, yeah, official stance, I don't think we put anything in writing, and I think that's what they're looking
You
for.
guys had a recommendation that was
Yeah, it was in our
presented to
minutes.
the board. in
That was a
writing.
while
It
ago,
is in
so
writing.
going forward.
Katie, can you put up, did anybody attend the last couple
I did.
community center meetings because the plan changed?
It did, and when we met as a group, it was, the third floor was 60% exercise equipment, remember that? And only 40% mushed in meeting space.
Yep.
So that was what our group discussed.
And we couldn't use it 50% of the time.
Right.
During the daytime.
Well,
So-
let's, two different ideas here.
Well, I'm
So-
just, we really kind of
What did the new one
discussed.
show? Can you call it up, Katie? I think some of your concerns were reflected in the new design, is what I'm saying. is in
Oh,
the new
not,
proposal.
don't worry.
I've never been able to get it on my computer in a size I can actually
I
see
can
what
do
it
it.
is.
And so Sandy, are we actually making a recommendation or suggestion on the new plan that was submitted
You always have to.
like a week ago?
Yeah, you have to always respond to the current one on the table.
Oh, which we have not done.
Right.
Right.
All right, there you go.
So this is the third floor or the bottom floor?
This is the third floor.
Okay, and I can't read it.
The second floor changed where the equipment went down. They took a basketball court away, and it's one basketball court and equipment. And this is
So
all.
Can you talk us through what that is? Because I can't tell what anything is from here. I mean, I can see there are rooms.
Sure.
The rooms have grown in size, I think, from what they were originally.
Yeah, because remember, they were only 8 feet wide before, and we're like, well, we can't do anything with 8 feet.
Right, that's not a.
I mean, that was one of the,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Here's a pointer for anybody who wants to point.
Thank you.
So we have 4 classrooms,
just give me a minute.
which is, how many did we have before?
6 maybe.
I thought there were 4 before.
Yeah, I don't think that has changed.
Are they
But
still
the
8
size-
feet? Can you see, Marcia?
Katie's
Yeah,
gonna
just
read
give me
it
a
to
minute.
us.
Yeah, it's not a focus.
They do have glass.
I know. All right, so this right up here is storage. It's 423 square feet. This is a dry classroom.
A what?
A dry classroom.
No water.
As opposed to a wet?
Yes.
Doesn't
Yeah,
have
water.
water.
Doesn't have water.
So like art camps could be in
Yes.
there.
Oh, I see what you mean, okay.
Whether the
Yeah.
dimensions of it?
150 square feet.
So like 10 by
10
15
by
or
15.
12 by 12?
It's
Yeah.
a tiny bedroom.
This is a wet classroom. So it
Do
is
they open in, they don't open into each other?
I couldn't tell you that. I mean, I'm sure that could be a possibility to have
It's
a
not
wall right
marked
there,
like
but
it, though.
Yeah.
this is 140 square feet. This right here is office space. This is,
10 by 15 again?
these are all 117
50 square feet.
square feet.
These are
This
offices
one's
for
164. Staff.
Office space for,
Yeah, okay.
who's, which staff?
So
Rough
is
idea.
town staff going to be over there?
I'm not sure.
This is going to need management personnel.
Yeah.
You know, so.
It may not be existing, what?
Yeah.
Might be the
existing town
pool
staff,
person.
but yeah.
The
It
pool,
might be
yeah.
the exercise equipment.
Aquatics directors and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, aquatics director.
This right here,
or
this
trainer.
little area is a removable play floor.
A removable what?
Play floor?
Play
Stage.
Play.
Like for a
Yeah,
stage?
yeah,
stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I thought you meant like for kids to play
No,
on.
no, I think like a stage that you can move in and out.
Okay.
This community room right here is a little over 4,000 square feet. This space right here.
Are those
Those
skylights?
X's are skylights, by the
Yes.
way.
Okay.
So that's the performance area?
Yes.
Okay.
This right here is the digital library.
Okay.
It is
Cockroaches without legs.
almost 1,000 square feet.
Okay.
These are bathrooms. This is a senior/teen room. It's 500 square feet.
So 25 by 20.
This area right here is a catering serving area.
Hi, what can we do?
I'm so sorry, I didn't know y'all were in the meeting. I was gonna ask if y'all already had someone come by here and check those roof out, please.
You can check what?
Oh.
The roof.
No, we're okay, thank you.
All right, y'all have a
Thanks.
Oh, wow. What was
Is
that
that the
last-
catering kitchen?
You
This-
wanted to check the roof?
Hail damage.
Hail damage.
Yeah, so this is a catering area.
Selling stuff.
Katie, what on the top of that digital library and senior room, what are those things?
Art display niches. Like right here,
Yes.
art display.
So is there any way to open up the digital library to the senior room so it's not so claustrophobic?
Yeah, I'm sure architecturally, there's a way to have some sort of door here, but I'm not
I
an
think
architect.
start making notes, because this is
Yeah.
what you
We want you to
recommend.
make
You want
notes.
a maximum flexibility, it sounds
Yeah.
like, between dry and wet, to be closed or open, 2 rooms or 1 room, okay?
So it looks like sliding
Yeah, so-
walls like they have in those ones
Wow.
on the bottom?
And know that with sliding walls, you have to have areas at the end for the walls to go.
Yeah.
Or an accordion, it just kind of smushes into the.
Yeah, but it still takes
But
up
it's
space.
still,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys didn't like that here, so I mean, that's what
I see.
has to happen, or you could, I'm sure.
So these are solid walls, because that little Z-shaped thing would indicate a movable wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing this is sort of some sort of like little desk or something right there.
I don't know if you've had any experience with removable walls, but my experience with removable walls is they don't block any sound. I mean, you can't have,
No, they
2
don't.
meetings right next to each other and put that
Well, it
removable wall
depends,
down the
in all honesty, it
center.
depends on the quality.
No, it's just
I mean, I've had
really
them,
bad.
well, but been in business and done seminars and stuff for years and years. Some are great and you don't hear anything when they're right next to each other, and others are horrible. So I think that the removable walls or the movable walls, it's really the quality of them.
And their maintenance problem too.
Yeah, but that's not our concern, but
The interesting thing, ladies, is you've got a whole floor now of community space.
Well, and all these little, like, that's an art wall, that's an art wall, that's art, that's art, that's art. They put art all along every single possible wall that they could. Okay, so obviously, these are all storage closets. There's 4 common areas. This one's 740 square feet. This one is 766 square feet. This one is 786 square feet, and this one's just over 1,100 square feet.
And what are those dotted lines?
This is another removable platform.
Like a stage.
Yep.
What are those?
These are
Garage doors.
overhead doors that you can open.
Garage doors.
So, yeah,
Transparent.
face out west.
Transparent garage doors.
So is that a balcony?
Yeah, so
Yes,
you
this
can
is a
have
balcony,
open air.
and it is a
So
little
big
over
windows,
1,300
basically,
foot
that you can open
square
up.
foot balcony.
And against the big
So
balcony.
is that for entertaining events, like?
That's for your art show.
That's for, yeah, all the events.
That's for your art show.
And each of those rooms, though, are completely closed, going out to the balcony? Except for
No.
those
No,
doors?
No, those are the
these are
foldable
removable
walls.
walls.
It would be one big room with a small room.
So it could be
So,
a
I
very
mean-
large event space, is
Right.
what you're
Yes,
saying.
I mean, you're looking at
I see.
700 plus 700 plus 700 plus 1,000, I mean, that's a huge.
Plus when those doors open, there's a patio that faces the Flatirons.
And that's, I guess, my question, were those are larger doors.
So what is,
So that's gonna be facing out toward Main Street.
towards
Yes,
the mountain?
towards
Towards the mountains facing
You're gonna
west.
be looking at the view.
What is that X in the corner?
That's
That's a column. It's like the front of the
But
building.
it-
Oh,
it's a
at the
back-
corner.
But it's a,
And
it's
where are the
usable
elevators?
space on that corner. It's outside space, right?
Probably on the left
Stairs.
side.
What are
Well, actually,
I
it's
think this is the
inside
top,
space, but
yeah.
it's usable.
This
They're
thing
trying
right here?
to, yeah, that
Oh,
could
okay.
be possibly usable space. It depends what happens to the roof
The
line.
top of it.
Yeah, yeah.
What are those spaces designed to be used for?
Events,
Classes.
160 people can fit interior. So,
For all four.
so you could have lectures, you could have dances, you could have parties, you could have,
Could people rent that out for a wedding reception?
well, I'm
Is that-
hoping they will be able to, but that goes to how we enter this building. If you
Yeah.
enter it through a sweaty gym,
Well,
you
you're
might-
coming in through the swimming pool.
you might, that's why you guys had said, I think you guys, or it may have been ProStack, saying you need to have an entrance
Yeah.
suitable
Yeah.
to get yourself up to a nice third floor community space without having to.
Just go through a pool or a gym.
I was just, I took my nephews from Spain over to the sports stable, and whatever they use as a disinfectant, it's either sweat that just stinks, or
It
it's
just
a
stinks.
disinfectant that stinks. Either which case, it's not conducive to a nice.
That wet
civic
dry
event.
classroom, they should just take the wall out and just make it one big room and have sinks. It doesn't make any sense because a
Which one,
wet,
Karen?
the wet dry, because a wet room could be dry, you just don't use the sinks.
Right, I agree.
That makes no sense.
Make it one space.
Yeah.
Was there some reason,
Are
Sandy,
you,
that
is
they
somebody
made so
writing these
small?
suggestions down?
Oh, I'm writing some of them
Okay.
down.
Or was
Um,
the idea that you could have two things going on at the same
They're
time?
the rooms are too small.
They're too small, because you'd have
Okay.
25, if you had 25 Girl Scouts, there's no way they'd fit in a wet room, or one of those rooms. Now, they probably could use one of the front rooms, right, Sandy?
Sure.
Could the Girl Scout group use a front room, for instance?
And like Mod Moms, they're using the firehouse to meet,
Right.
you know.
Or the Women in
They-
Business.
They'd be able to
Scouts,
meet in one of those rooms.
You've got those big rooms there that can always be divvied up.
I make a point about that. Well, I actually kind of like that. I'll leave my wall for the art. Because the problem with putting art on all these walls is that they're vulnerable to people, you know, pushing things down the hallway.
they're
and all
niches.
kinds of Stuff. And over in this big space, if you leave this wall and there doesn't happen to be a performance going on, you've got a gigantic place, plus a nice foundation wall for an art show. So, art in the hallways is a lot more vulnerable, and it's a
Oh, it's
lot
gonna
more
be
difficult to
recessed.
install too,
Yeah.
because
They're gonna be in like little kind of recessed
Niches.
niches.
They'll be
This one you
protected.
get
Yeah, they'll be
There was a
protected.
picture that was floated around by
Yeah,
staff,
I can,
and it was pretty dang cool.
So where exactly is this going to be located?
well, wait a sec, let's look at
In
the
the
design
front part of the
first.
sports table.
So
Oh.
this is, the front.
Sandy, how do you feel about the way that looks?
How do I feel?
Because you have such good taste.
This is kind of it,
think
you
it
know,
looks better
at
than it
the
does
sports table
now.
where there's the roundabout. This is stuck in the, this is where that little.
Where the roundabout
That's where
Well,
the
it's like the little.
That's where the little U shape
Drop-off.
is
So
now.
the
drop-off.
sports stable is kind of behind
It's
it?
right here.
Impact
Yeah.
Sports
is there on the
Right
left.
here?
Yeah.
Right now, it's
So
shaped
it's-
like a U, the building's
Right.
shaped like a U, so this would fill in
Debbie, I
the
have-
middle space.
Have some observations, but I don't want to bias anything. See, this
See,
is
these
the
are like the
niches.
art. niches.
How it's recessed.
That's very cool.
I think it's super cool. I will weigh in on that one. Rather than it just
Yeah, that's a little less vulnerable.
out into the hallway.
Click in the wall.
Yeah, a little less.
Those
vulnerable.
niches are pretty cool.
Okay, and the one down there, bottom right, that's the
Movable
lobby,
wall.
or that's in?
That's where the
upstairs
clear
and
garage
this?
doors are.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. That's the event area. This is the event area.
Oh, those are the garage doors.
And if
Yeah.
there's
Cool.
got to be another view that shows you your mountain view from that.
It's really a cool idea. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Well, one of them.
That's on the
That's
second,
second
that's the
floor.
second
That's
floor.
the basketball court in the second floor.
And this is the first floor.
And that's.
But it has that same garage door that can open then?
Yes.
Yes.
Also on
Well,
the
and I
first floor.
believe they're gonna put the exercise equipment, not that it relates to us as a community space, but I think they're putting the exercise equipment by those windows to look out on the Flatirons, and the basketball court will be in the back, because who looks outside when you play basketball?
Right. So if I was to have my book club there, do all of my members have to be members of the community center?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it is a true community center where Superior taxpayers will be
Right.
able to
You can put that
access
in your
that.
recommendations, that the community center accessibility should be basic, pretty open and, what's the word, free
Yeah, not members.
So-
to, so you don't have to belong.
Like, you have a reservation, but it's free.
Right.
So Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts,
Right.
book groups, women.
Kind of like how the firehouse operates now.
Yeah,
exactly.
They, but understand the event center probably would be sometimes free, but big events would probably be
Oh,
charged for.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, how do you, for instance, let's say it was super successful as a wedding venue or whatever, these rooms here, but how does that take priority over Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, seniors? Libraries, Jeff and Paige.
Just the same way as, anybody in the region, anybody can rent the shelters at the parks. Anybody, you don't have to live in Superior.
But the shelters, at least from what I've seen, don't have a huge amount of demand. I mean, there is some demand.
But it's
But
the
if that-
same,
if
it's the
that-
same balancing act is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
because if
is
that space was
hit
always
and
rented
miss
out.
and learn from,
So it's whoever gets it first.
basically.
Now, the problem though with the swimming pool and stuff like that is that Sports Authority folks, whoever they are,
Good stable.
are renting back. Are they going to rent the community space on the third floor, or that's just ours?
All
Because-
these things are just conjecture. I
Because
would,
as a resident,
Right.
the idea of paying for this space that I'm not going to be able to use because they've got it,
that's the point you gotta make, is that we want this true Superior-based community space, and this model of leasing prime time to private businesses doesn't sit well, or whatever.
Yeah,
We just
that-
need to make that statement.
And I have a
let the
question about
details to
that.
the board to figure out how to deal with that.
As it's proposed now, like Terry was saying, when would each area be available to just citizens?
Right, I don't know.
Do we, okay.
Yeah, and
Is
no,
it,
but no.
but there's a percentage of time, is it? Or
I think
number
we
of
don't
hours
know.
a month?
Well, they have proposed an obscene amount of hours, but it's like anything else, when you're in business, you always ask for more.
Right.
So it gives you negotiating room to go down.
The
So
problem.
I don't think that they will ever get that much,
The
because they
problem
wouldn't
here,
even use it.
ladies, we can talk, we'll be here
Yeah.
tomorrow at this time.
Yeah.
Because
Sure, I understood it.
everything in front of you is just proposed conjecture, a way to make things happen. And so all you need to say is, no, this is Superior's recreation, this is Superior's community. Superior comes first in all decision-making, private enterprise does not matter, or it comes third
And
or
if
fourth.
it is
or
gonna be
whatever.
our community
Right.
center, we should have priority over using it.
Right,
Otherwise,
right.
why have it?
Right.
Then say it.
I think
Then
that
state
comment's been heard.
Yeah.
But
So here's
my concern.
making any suggestions to this proposal. I don't want that to be misconstrued by the board that we like it. We actually, as a committee, don't want a different vision. We want a separate building. You know, you see what I mean? Like,
Is that how
I think
that's
we fear.
material. If you guys feel that way, if you've arrived at that, that should be your first paragraph.
Right. So I
To
don't.
start off with, this does not.
This is not right.
satisfy our vision at
This is-
all.
Yeah.
But
That's
if
why
this
I'm
were to
afraid.
happen, then.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How do you draw that line,
Yeah.
though, Sandy?
If they do it
With your
against our
vote.
wishes, then we want to tell them what
This
to
makes
do.
it on the ballot.
Right, exactly.
You
I think we
vote.
So, all right, and so
Get down.
I think
Or you vote it up.
we have
think we have-
decided as a committee that this is not our vision, you know, for a community center, you know, or a rec center. So
Especially
that-
entering on the third level.
I think we also agreed, though, we have to go for whatever space we can right up front.
Exactly, but that's
So we get a
what Sandy was
total
saying.
in
So we
actual
say-
space,
That's what we said.
even if we
So-
don't like it.
I
Because-
just don't want our suggestions to be misconstrued as being proponents of.
I think that's
If
fair.
this is okay,
Right,
let's
this
go.
is not
Does
okay.
does everybody agree?
I wrote that down.
Yeah, I think.
Our top priority is we, as a CAPS committee, want a separate community
Standalone.
library standalone entity.
I agree with
So
that.
that,
Somehow that has to be in the notes. This
yes,
is
so
something
somehow or
in-
another, that has to get in the
Should we
notes.
And why
officially
couldn't
vote?
it be in the Sports Authority building?
Exactly.
We don't have to find, see, this is
But-
where it becomes unproductive here.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't find the location. You just state your.
Right, so I think that's what we're gonna
Yeah.
state. I mean, we could
Well,
spin our wheels.
If we state that, aren't we saying then we just give up on this and they can do whatever they want?
No, then we say, but if you have to do
Right.
this, here's what we'd like.
Okay, let's
Okay.
take it.
Yeah,
Our
but if you
top
have to do
priority
that,
is we
put that in
want
there.
a separate community gathering, community building, library space.
Yeah.
We agreed on that. So now, what do we like about this?
Well, then, but if we have to accept
But.
this.
How would you
but
tweak the
if we
proposal
have
in
to
front of
accept
you?
it,
How would you treat the proposal?
So what
Is
do you
this something
like?
that we vote on, like to make a statement?
You can,
Sandy?
or you can have it reflected in your notes.
So what do we like about this?
What's the difference?
What don't you like most
What don't we
importantly?
like?
But do this.
What don't you like?
We would like that one room,
Okay.
those two separate.
The two
Giant wet
small
classroom
rooms.
become
The
large.
giant-
I got that on here.
That should be
Okay.
one
Hold
room.
on.
Possibly a
Hold on.
movable.
Hold on. I gotta back you up because there's too much talking and, okay, one at a time. Okay? One at a time so that we can get them in the notes. Because otherwise it's
Yes,
just,
'cause
it's
all
chatter,
there's
not everyone can hear.
noise.
Yes. And Terry's doing a great job at notes, so we have to help her out here. Okay.
I would propose that we make the wet and dry little classrooms one large room. that
Okay,
is
got that down.
Used
Okay.
either or,
Kitty.
with wet availability.
And there,
I
Kitty's next.
move that we vote to recommend to the town that we do not want this. We want something that is its own space with the library space.
And what if that does not come
Well, I'm just
to fruition?
moving that.
Okay.
That's our recommendation
Okay,
for one thing.
okay, okay.
But we
It's a
still
single
have to-
subject motion.
Okay. Karen, what
Is
are
there
your
a
ideas?
second?
Let's have that.
I was gonna say.
Can it stay out here till the discussion has been had?
Well, doesn't it need a second before there's a discussion? Yes, it does.
Not, we don't do parliamentary procedure.
Robert's rules?
We'll leave that out here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. Karen?
Well, we did mention the senior teen area, you know, be more incorporating into the library, not just those hard walls, so that there's more flex space, and it's.
That's a good word, flex space.
Flex, you said maximum flexibility.
Okay, wait a minute, I have to figure out how to write that. Say that again.
Maximum flexibility of space, an open space between the digital library and the senior room.
And I was wondering if the wet dry room, so that's you said 500 square feet for each, so that's 1,000 square feet?
No, it's only 150, Karen.
150. 12 by
Let me-
12.
So that's gonna be
300.
10, 20 feet?
You have 290 square feet in there. If the
So
two
20
rooms.
by 15 roughly.
Could we make it a little bigger? I'm wondering if that could be a little bigger, but.
Yeah, why do we have this big I mean, a great idea, but there's this big, it's like either end has a lot of open space.
I don't know if, how much is that
I
event
think that's a
space?
good thing for performance.
Well, yeah, but have you been to the
teen
Lewis-
dances and stuff?
Well, but if you've been, I'm looking at it from a senior advocacy
I
position.
don't think a
So-
teenager is gonna go to a dance there.
Right.
That's my opinion.
No.
But-
I've had 3 children, they're not going there.
But what about seniors and pool? Think
I would
about
like to believe.
senior amenities. We have no senior amenities. We have
Right.
no taught story time. We have no teen gathering research space. So if you're only putting the seniors in that little room with nowhere for them to go, I can guarantee you that no seniors are essentially going to use that room. It is not a
How
senior
big's
room.
that room?
Yeah, that one's
pretty good.
500 square feet. This one right
25
here.
by 20. So isn't that
That's
about
pretty good
half of this
size.
room?
It's only about half of this room.
Yeah.
That's small.
But if you want, like if you go over to the senior, has anybody here been to the senior centers?
In-
Just me and
in
Sandy?
Louisville?
Yes, and Boulder, the East Boulder Rec
Yeah,
Center.
East
Okay.
Boulder.
They have areas for playing pool. They have tables set up for playing bridge or mahjong or
Right.
canasta or whatever.
Wait, can you
Um,
bring up the
so they-
2016
But
rendering?
couldn't those rooms be converted into those programs?
So Debbie, we're
yes.
going to bring up the 2016 rendering that the town had commissioned. Just as a-
Oh, the really cool one?
Now I gotta find it.
And when that performance space is empty, they can
Oh, yeah, but
use it for that.
I think that the seniors need, if that performance space is empty, how do you move in card tables to play mahjong? How do you move in a pool
You
table?
have a director that's in charge
How-
of putting the program together.
Right.
Yeah.
More, how do you get rid
Tables
of the
and
pool
chairs.
table when you want to
Egg-
have a performance?
Exactly, so-
It's got to go somewhere.
Well,
Are there
pool
such
table
things as
is-
Murphy bed pool tables?
No,
I think
tables, I think you set them up
by the
and
name of the
they're
game, you
there.
can't.
So Debbie, here is the.
This is the really, really cool one.
Right, this was
Yeah.
the 2016 architectural.
For community
rendering,
library
yeah.
space.
For the community library space, yeah.
This is
so
our
let's-
dream.
Let's look, at this is our dream, right.
And why did this disappear?
See, there is sort of what's been accomplished in the
Yeah,
event
third
space
floor,
where you have the
yeah.
mountain views.
I can see that.
That was very brilliant, I have to say.
That idea's been borrowed in the sports
I do
stadium.
like
Nice.
the way they did the garage doors, and I think that's really smart.
Well, I think what that shows is movement and openness and not small confined spaces.
They even had a theater room, which is pretty cool.
Another thing I'm wondering is, would we approve of this with modifications if it weren't where they're proposing it to be? Like if it were somewhere else where it's separate from sports stable?
I'm sure it'd go back to the drawing board if it went to a
No, I'm
different
just saying,
location.
whether we say we want something different.
I think you've got to go back now to the other one, because that's the plan on the table. That's the plan that might be on your November ballot, okay? And you've had a great deal of influence on this third floor, right? So tweak it more. My thing is always up there, I may disagree with the whole idea, but if it passes, I want to make sure it's the best that passes that I can help influence it to be. And that's your challenge right here.
Yeah, could you take that senior room out and put it into the library and have one of these be a teen senior lounge, even though, the door goes up and down and it's part of a larger event space? Couldn't one of those larger rooms be allocated to that?
Like the far one on the right?
Yeah.
Because that's the largest one for the
Either-
teens.
Yeah, or the left one.
The way I understand it, those rooms are also designed so that you can have classes for seniors, all classes happening at the same time for different age groups.
Gotcha, okay.
So you could do that, but then you're taking away some options for other things to
Well,
happen.
there we go with balancing, is it for us or is it for revenue?
Right.
Well, not ju- I mean, just like, it could be classes for seniors too. I mean, it could be an aerobics class or, whatever.
I think it, All we need to say in here is the space for teens and seniors is too small. It needs to be about double at a minimum. And let somebody smarter than we are figure out where that might be.
The architects,
Yeah, 'cause
okay.
you need sofas and you need
What,
tables.
can someone give me the definition of what a digital library is?
What a digital, tell you what it's not. And I just had this thing today, I was doing some work on something. I'm sort of the developer, I'm one of the people complicit in this idea of digital library. What it is not is a repeat of the Louisville Library with all the stacks of books, right? And so what it does is it complements that with newer technology, with access to anything electronic. You know, it could be iPads, it could be computers, it could be just anything in which you don't have to have stacks of books. But having said that, the idea also has always been that children's services are still very book-based, right? So how do you balance a huge part of our usage as a town of Superior, of Louisville Library, is kids.
Yes.
Is, you know, under first grade, and moms and dads,
Story
kids
time.
and story time and all that kind of stuff. And they love to come in and check out 12 books, take them home, et cetera. So my vision in talking about complementing their services is actually to work collaboratively with them, saying, if you were building your library in the year 2018, how would you go about it? And we bring some of that new age view of libraries into here to complement what they do there. And I think we absolutely need to have children's services here, because schlepping your kids all the way down there, why are we doing that? And
Right.
that's community building.
Yes, if you talk to parents, and I feel very strong this, only because I have 2 kids in Superior, what you hear is they have to take their kids to Whole Foods for story time. That's ridiculous. I mean, it really is.
So to call this
So you-
digital library, just today I'm like, we got to get back on track, that we still want books for.
Yeah, and, well, and
for
to me, it
those
just doesn't seem like
areas
it
we
serves
want
a real
books for.
purpose.
It doesn't. It's just
no
like-
one really has problems accessing digital files in any format these days.
What
So-
if you took that wall out? Okay, so as a senior, and I know that my neighborhood, we've talked about this a lot, what if you had senior services in the front, and it doesn't have to be senior services, but somehow or another you have access to card tables and pool tables and whatever. I mean, I don't know what that would look like, it's an architect thing. But what if the children's services area took over the senior area? I mean, that you somehow or another
I don't think
opened
it's
that
big enough.
up?
Well, that's where you do the story time, is in that room
Right.
instead.
Or
Dedicate that.
I think the digital library should be the children's.
It should be the children's library and the
activity room.
digital aspect of it.
Yeah, and let's just check, what would you name it, so that we can basically rebrand it in people's minds to achieve what you want? So the word
Yeah.
digital library.
To scrap that.
To scrap that, but what would you
Flex.
call it?
Children's activity room.
How about flexible technology
Slash children's
literary
library.
services or something?
Yeah. But I would suggest getting that word children in there, because so it's not.
Well, so are we changing the
Library
maximum
event space?
flexibility between digital library and the teen and senior room? Are we jumping that?
Possibly, because here's the thing, guys, what this is community building for specific populations that need them, and children and parents of small children, that community building among that. The opportunity for teens to do something fun that isn't at the mall.
Right.
Do you think they really will?
Yeah, I think they will.
Well, have you been
the
to the
right
teen
program.
room at Louisville Library?
No, do
It's
they go
packed
there?
all
Oh,
the
good.
time.
It is,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
packed.
very, very busy.
Yeah, I was a library liaison for several years.
But you have to make it accessible for them. They have to be able to get to that spot
And it has
without
to be
relying on their
cool.
parent.
I mean, over there, they've got game consoles and, you know, and then the other community that I'm with Debbie, probably because I am one, is senior gathering. How do we make that really where people are going to come and gather? And then think about this idea of multi-generational. To have, my kids love being with older adults. My boys, you know, that interaction.
They call this whole area
Multi-generational.
Multi-generational service, or, you know,
Activities
it
and
has
activities and library.
children's, and then, you know,
Activities slash resources.
People would be very
Activities
intrigued by
slash
that.
resources.
There's gotta be a name for it somewhere.
Oh, we only have 25 more
It's the Mars
minutes, so
room.
I think we've got the general
It's the Mars
gist.
room,
Would you say we have the gist?
multi-generational
Exactly.
activity,
Okay.
resources and services. Mars.
Okay,
Yeah,
moving on, I think we've got the gist. So, all right, so we need a number 5, an update on the community mural and planning for chili.
Wait, I think we need to step back here, because only that this is so important, and if you go in, we have to vote on, and I know we don't do Robert's Rules of Order law, but I think
Yes,
we
we
need
do.
to pay attention to Kate.
We need to.
I think we need, so.
You have to vote.
We have to vote. So
Okay.
Kitty has a motion on the floor. I second it.
Okay.
Okay.
We need to vote on the motion.
Do you want it to be limited to that, or do you want it to say?
I made the
this?
motion.
There is a motion.
You said
need to
it's
set it
separate
right
now.
now.
We propose a separate
I
location.
can't agree with you, because I think it comes out with a negative right up front. And I think in our partnership with the trustees, I think we need to come out with something more supportive.
Well, okay, but Kitty has a motion on the floor. I seconded it. You're welcome
To discussion. Yeah.
We've had the discussion, basically.
Well, no, she gets,
You want-
you get to
okay.
discuss. People
Yeah,
can
so
say, I
just-
don't
thought we
like
I'm
it.
just letting, so
Yeah.
when it comes to a vote, I'm gonna say no.
But I don't think if we agree, and we say, yes, I agree, that doesn't mean we can't have our recommendations. We don't like it, but if it goes forward, these are our recommendations.
But I think
Well,
what you're
that's what
saying
she's got,
is
but
you
that's
don't-
not her motion. That's not her
So
motion.
how would
She
you?
seconded her motion.
Yeah, but how would you phrase it then? Because we're agreeing that we would prefer not to have that. So how are you going to say that positively?
She's got it. You could just read from the
Well,
very beginning.
I think Terry has it too,
It's-
that we feel it is a high priority as a community to build a separate building / library, and that this plan, as proposed, does not meet our vision as a town committee. as a town-
However,
Well,
there's the
but that is,
Okay, I would
There's the
accept
but.
that as a friendly amendment.
There's the
Okay.
but it continues. But since we're addressing this plan, we would like to see the larger
I don't think you can
classroom.
muddy them. I personally think the board needs to understand in specific language that the CAPS committee, we voted that we do not, this is not our vision for what a community center / library is for Superior.
Well, then why would they care for our opinion then?
The
Aren't they
point
asking
is,
everybody's opinion?
okay, you've been asked for your opinion on this proposal, okay? So are you going to make a motion as proposed and amended that doesn't deal with this? Are you going to make that
Two
first?
separate.
And then make another one that says, but
Exactly.
regarding this plan, and you're going to do a
Yes.
second one that's separate?
Yes.
They're
Okay.
still going to know
That's
what
what I would
our,
recommend.
what, if this goes forward, then these are our recommendations.
Yeah,
But
you
first and
understand
foremost,
my concern is we've got a toehold in, quality
No,
space up
absolutely,
there.
right, and we
I'm afraid-
just summed up what our recommendations would be.
Well,
So-
no, it's not yet. So we need to get it, exact. I'm just,
Right.
not wanting us to lose our toehold in there by coming out in the negative first. It's because they've been asking us all along, and we haven't said from the very beginning, we hate it, we're not going to cooperate with it.
So we're
So
doing the
it's
motion.
very
that's
late in the
saying-
process now
No, we
to
get it,
say
and
that.
we're doing that. So we're making the vote that this is not our vision, right? And then we would do another,
And then we could do another vote, say, this is what,
Exactly.
here
Yes.
are the things.
Right.
If you decide, if this does go forward, then all
okay,
of what we've
so
talked
let's
about.
do it, because we are really
Yeah.
late.
Okay.
You have to call, since you're the chair, you have to call for a vote.
So, I thought we already.
But
did.
you
Oh,
have
no.
to.
You have to read it.
Read the specific
have it.
language.
Oh, I just did, okay. The CAPS committee feels that this building as proposed does not satisfy our vision for a community/library space in Superior.
So now I call for a
And-
vote?
yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna do a separate one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I call for a vote.
Mhm.
So you say aye.
All those
Ray, you should,
you say all those in favor?
Yes.
All those in favor say
well, raise your
aye.
hand so we get a count.
Are you counting,
Okay.
Katie? Who's counting?
1, 2,
I go back
3,
one.
4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Opposed?
Okay.
Opposed is one.
Okay.
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 Okay, that's recommendation
So-
number 1.
Okay.
Recommendation number 2.
What's recommendation number 2 going to sound like?
Well, however we want to put together.
However you want to put together.
How about
If,
oh, we have to,
yeah, do you want to put
okay,
it,
it's,
if this proposal passes as displayed.
We're to proceed.
We're to
and-
proceed.
We're to
Should
proceed.
this proposal?
Should this proposal succeed? I like that.
Proceed.
Proceed.
Yeah.
We have the following recommendations. The separate dry room and wet room on the 3rd floor should be combined to make the maximum square footage of 1 room. And the senior area,
Senior teen library area?
teen library area is, needs expansion.
It's too small.
Yeah, it's too small. We talked
It's
about
too
it being
small.
doubling in space.
Multi-generational flexible space.
Should be
Like that.
reconfigured.
Should be reconfigured
into a combined multi-generational?
into a
Something like that.
combined
Because
usage
why-
space.
Why wouldn't seniors want to learn, go into the digital
Exactly.
space?
So that's where it is, it
Yeah.
becomes, you know, it has a more organic feel to it.
Yeah.
That it crosses.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your
Okay.
motion.
Yes.
So, does it? is
Wait,
a
were there
second?
any other?
Oh, yeah,
Define
what about these
multi-generational
spaces?
for teens, seniors, children, among others.
Oh, these
Yeah, that's
spaces?
Did anyone have any recommendations for altering these 4 rooms?
I wrote down 2 of the things that we feel were very strong, felt very strongly about is the accessibility of the community residents of Superior to use this space. That we don't, I mean, from what I heard and what I watched, when I watched the big discussion on this, was Impact Sports and Rough Riders want to rent out 40 to 50 hours a week our community center.
But that's not this, that's down
No,
below.
no, that is this. They want these to be training elite athletes, watch video rooms or
This
something.
floor?
Yes.
It's
Rough Riders
unclear to me.
Yeah, I didn't get that impression.
It's,
As the way it
But
was
you
originally
don't-
talked to us, it was.
Yeah.
I heard it was pool hours.
No,
it
no.
was
Well,
pool.
everything.
It's everything. It was pool, basketball courts.
So all this is a
was
moot
workout
point?
space, so let's
If
not
they're
get
gonna
into.
rent it?
They're not.
Now, let's get into
Okay.
that. Let's
Okay.
just say.
Because that's what they did say at the
Just say it in the
Okay.
affirmative.
It's
We,
still my,
yeah, we wish,
it's
what
still
do you
mine. I
want to
got it,
say about
okay?
the community space?
I got it. Okay, so it's still my motion, I
Right,
think.
okay.
Okay, so here's the second part then. After you're done, you've got the classroom and the multi-generational.
Okay,
And the
but that's
entrance.
2, so this is number 3.
Okay, this is number 3. We recommend the 4 west side classrooms be given priority to Superior residents
Why not the
over
whole place?
commercial,
The whole, you want the whole
over
place.
commercial uses.
You want the whole,
the whole
you want
third
the whole
floor.
3rd floor.
I think
Oh, okay,
the whole
say the whole,
facility.
say the whole 3rd floor.
Or just say, we
Facility.
recommend that in all instances, Superior residents be given first priority.
We have
at-
first
at all
priority
times.
accessibility at all times.
At
Yeah,
all
for
times.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
I don't take shorthand.
I do think it's good, besides all types, I do think it's good to compare it with commercial.
Residents.
I'd like to see the word
Over
commercial in there, over commercial interests.
Interests.
Or commercial or private.
Please put the word
Yes,
commercial in
I
there.
agree.
Over commercial interests. I think having it be for all of us is not enough. We have to say over commercial interests.
Okay, so this is number 3.
Now, I did put something in here about, that was Melinda's book group comment, that if you live in Superior, can you have your book group meet there for free? for? I mean, is that, do we even need to say that?
I think we'll deal with that later.
What about the entrance? What about is that already in the notes? Is making a different entrance?
No.
Okay.
Separate entrance.
An entrance
No, it has to
conducive to public use of the community space.
And it's more of a grand entrance, especially if it's gonna be
separate entrance.
elevated to
Conducive.
community events and
You don't want to walk through
you
a.
want to have
But
a
is it
lovely entrance.
An entrance
Very
suitable
good.
for
An
community room
appealing
access.
entrance conducive to.
Yes, suitable, conducive to community room events.
An appealing public
The
entrance.
trustees are gonna look at this and go, oh my gosh, they've let them loose again.
Well, we haven't seen anything
I defended you last time. You've been asked to
Thank
comment
you.
on the community purposes. Notice you're not talking about the basketball court.
No, we are not. We are
Okay,
not.
this is your domain.
Community
An
space.
entrance conducive to,
An appealing entrance conducive
To not feeling like you
Community
need to
involvement.
hold your nose
Yeah.
when you're walking in the door.
In the
To,
community.
Events for.
to, I don't want to say, but to, what is the word for a nice event? I mean, like for.
You've got an art event, you've got a
Yeah.
wedding, you've got a bar
Upscale.
mitzvah,
But
you've
you
got.
can say the
you know.
cultural, that would be.
Yes,
Say
yes,
a
yes.
nice entrance that does not
entrance
involve going through any
suitable to
athletic.
cultural and community.
Appropriate for, for community,
Appropriate
cultural
for
and art events.
Cultural, community, and art
Just
events.
call
Oh, there you go, you got that one too.
Yeah.
To appropriate.
There you go. That's
Appealing
right.
entrance,
flip
appropriate for
Appropriate.
entrance to
Did you
community,
say
cultural, and arts
artistic?
events.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, two other things that I've heard.
No jock straps.
Yeah. And no
Yeah.
weird smells.
Local fundraising events.
Yeah.
Want to, have their.
Okay.
Okay,
this is for the
one more.
third
Seriously, you
floor.
guys, we.
How do we get an entrance that comes directly into that?
Are we done
Let
with
them
our
know.
motion?
Yeah.
We have to vote on
wait,
the
wait,
motion.
Wait, there's two
one
more
more.
concerns.
Okay,
One
we
is
have,
parking.
we have like an hour
I know.
of stuff to do.
One, but this,
Parking.
parking, that we are concerned that there is not easily accessible parking
There
for
should
children
be easily
and
accessible
seniors.
And
parking
handicap, all of that,
Handicap.
but all of that is dealt with by the ADA. I mean,
Yeah.
they have to deal with that, I believe, as part of.
Doesn't hurt to say it.
I think we need to, you have to realize
Easily
that
accessible
easily
parking
accessible
for
parking
all
for all ages, okay.
and ability groups.
Right.
I like that.
Terry and Debbie
And
are
our-
taking
yeah,
care of the
American ADA.
logistics of the bill.
Because they're taking out 3.
What was your last one, Debbie? You said 2.
They're taking out 3.
Childcare.
Yeah.
Childcare.
Should we just forget that? Anybody have any thoughts on childcare?
Well, it could happen in
That was
a.
all my comments on the online survey.
The right way, you
It
can
could
use it
happen
that
in that
way.
space.
Yeah,
I think we're
I-
talking
And
about the
childcare
space.
does take up a lot of community space. so
We'll delegate childcare
to somebody else.
to
worry
somebody
about.
else
Yeah.
in the
It's not
sports
our-
area.
it's
not
not
our-
our area. We can't.
Okay, so we only have 5
Okay,
items.
we good?
Could
Right,
Okay.
go.
Tara needs to read it now.
Oh, shit. You want me to read my?
Roughly.
Marcia.
Okay, all right.
This is my
This is
motion.
the second proposal from Marcia.
Second motion.
Yes.
Second motion.
All right,
and it's
if
from
this
Marcia.
proposal should proceed, we have the following recommendations.
Awesome.
Number 1, the dry and wet rooms need to be converted to one room.
Right.
2, the space for teens and seniors is too small.
children.
Well,
Right now,
they're
it's
calling
teens and seniors.
Teens and seniors.
Okay. Space for teens is too small. It needs to be at least double in space or reconfigured to a combined multi-generational space.
Yes.
Is that good enough?
We like that. Multi-generational recreation space, which is the Mars.
Recreational space.
Let's go to Mars.
Okay. Third item. Recommend in all instances that Superior residents get priority over commercial or private interests. I can't read my own handwriting. We need an appealing public entrance that is conducive to appropriate cultural, community, and arts events. Parking needs to be easily accessible for all ages and abilities.
I like that. Is there one more?
I gotta add one more thing.
Okay.
None of those rooms have sinks, right? No plumbing.
Well, there's a bunch of bathrooms right there.
No, like, when you go to any community space, there's a sink. You wash your hands, you get water.
You mean in the pretty room?
Those
here?
rooms,
That-
one or two of those rooms needs to have a countertop with a sink and a bar. That would be really sorely missed.
Add wet amenities.
Yes.
In
To
the
at
pretty
least a
rooms.
couple
Yes.
of
So that
the
catering
major
space
event
wouldn't
space
be
room.
sufficient.
Well, if you're using it as any kind of community, when you go to a room, in any community room, like at the fire station,
Yeah.
there's a bar. When
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
you put
You
your,
set out your donuts,
donuts,
you set
and
out your
you know,
sandwiches.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a counter.
What are we calling those four
With a
rooms
sink.
in there?
Major
plumbing.
event space.
Major events,
The major events.
flexible rooms or whatever.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
Okay, so we have that
That
motion.
is
We
the
needs to be
motion.
seconded.
I second it.
Okay.
Okay, so I call to a vote.
Yes.
Those who are in support of this motion, raise your hand.
No opposed.
No
Unanimous.
opposed. Okay, woo, number 5, community mural discussion and planning for Chili Fest. Take it away, Debbie and Jane.
I emailed over to you our thoughts, opinions, how we would change it. So I think we're pretty clear on that.
Yeah.
Katie's gonna take the boards, and I emailed you that yesterday. She's gonna take the boards and put them on a grid, because the problem were some of them were smaller. And it's not the big boards, because we can make them smaller, but it's the small ones, and Katie's gonna just see if she can, and Mike and I and everybody who helped, we can paint them.
Bottom line, you can have them repainted to the right size too.
Well,
I mean,
and
this
it's
is
hard
a,
because whenever you buy a board, it's not.
Exactly, when they're cutting and they're scooching.
Yeah.
Well, and no, a 4x8 is not really a 4x8, so we can fix that. It's an easy fix.
And
Yes.
we did discover that the actual image of the mural is a giant peel-off sticker.
Oh, we did?
So, when we are looking at actually taking those boards and doing, as we were calling it, tracing, so that more, we wouldn't run into completely unintelligible marks on them. I went over to Michael's and I was told that you can actually use a quilting tool to mark those, the actual
Sections,
paste,
painting.
I mean, the tape sticker things, so that a person could then lift that tape off and be able to
So my
trace them.
question to you isn't the fun part of it
the irregularity.
the regularity of it?
The
The fun,
irregularity, yeah.
like, anyone can trace anything. Like, I thought the fun of it was them being able to, it's gonna look a little off, but that's kind of the thing about it. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
we can.
I looked
we
at the
have
pieces,
gone-
they looked great.
I agree, we all agree.
But we gave them all the easy ones, Katie.
Pieces.
We gave them the easy ones.
Well, and then,
That's why
so
we were
you
gonna.
do the older age.
That's why we were
Yeah.
gonna have the Girl Scout troops help with the tracing.
On a few.
yeah, but I
On a few.
don't know, I think that loses the feel of it, because then you have these traced pieces and you have these non-traced pieces.
So may I make a suggestion? I think we have to decide, are we going to allow the creative process to evolve? And that means everything from the woman that took an hour to draw hers to the small child that sort of
yeah,
throws
eight
the
is-
paint.
eight-
Or
And
the
be
woman who
okay
threw it
with
away.
that. That's what this mural is about. We have
do
to
have-
agree, either or.
Have
I
the
mean,
rules.
that's up to you guys, but
Yeah, and I
mean,
think that's really where we're at.
Yeah.
If we're willing to take the risk, then it's a free creation, and we agree, and we work with that.
Well, the 8 and unders have to have technical.
Well, I put that on the list, that
Okay, I
8
think
and
that's
under
good.
is really not
Yeah.
allowed to do it, unless their parent seriously, and, because I kept saying, is your
Yes.
parent here? And the parent, basically, from what I saw, and you guys were actually on that painting in, they were just letting their kids do
Is
whatever.
8 too young? Should it be 9?
No.
I
It's
think
good.
8's okay.
what were you
I have,
thinking
okay,
with your?
I have a 9 and a 6-year-old, so I can give a lot of creative input here.
Yeah.
My thought was that these kids don't want to trace, number one. They're not going to want to do that. They want to paint, because they want to go and pass that mural and say, I did that tile, because they will remember it. For my Cub Scouts, it is not a drop-off situation. They have to have parents there. And I make the parents sit with the kids. So if it was just my den meeting, would not be a problem. If we did it as a pack meeting, as a pack group, and I don't know what the parameters are around how many people you can do at once, or, I mean, those are specifics, but we would mandate that parents, I mean, Cub Scouts is all about parent and kid activity. It's
Right.
not ever drop off.
I
So-
did call the fire station, I think it was Daryl who told me to call the fire station and sports stable. You can take your Boy Scout group, like on August 10th, for instance, on a Saturday morning from 10 to 12, and this can be an activity for their Boy Scout group or the Girl Scout group, and we, as a team, will be at the fire station with the stuff, basically, to allow those groups to finish a mural. So our thought was to have 3 more serious, you can take 2-3 hours and do it if that's what you need, rather than being just a chili fest, and they might stay there for only 20 minutes. And it's just like, almost a distraction kind of thing, because there's
Right.
so much going on.
That's probably what it turned into at the pancake breakfast, is
It
you
did.
go do that while mom and dad go eat their
And one of
pancakes.
our suggestions was don't put it next to the bouncy house, because.
Yeah, you'll never get.
So I'll recommend that we go with a theme, a community, non-traced thing.
Okay.
With the caveat that there be a parent or
Some adult that can
8
help
above,
offer
2, 6,
guidance.
And then
Okay.
we meet that, which I agree with you. Kids are going to want to look and say, hey, I did that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Everybody who paints is gonna wanna say,
of
hey, I
course.
did that.
So can I ask what the time frame is for this to finish? Because
Next year is.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean, I don't think.
With all of your Boy Scouts, sooner rather than later.
Well, here's the thing, because the beginning of our year is nutty, like, because we've got camping trips, we've got popcorn, people are coming back in school and everything. So like, if you want us to get involved, which the whole pack is on board with it, it probably would have to be more in like the October timeframe.
We can
If
do
that would be
that.
okay. Yeah.
We're fine,
Oh,
Sharon.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Daryl had mentioned that what we were really looking for, as I heard her, I could be wrong, was going into next spring. We're not in.
Oh,
any-
okay.
we're-
No, okay, so even if we pushed it to like.
You would?
Well, yeah, because we have to
Because
put
then you could do it
lacquer on
outside,
it.
too.
Okay.
And
By
then,
winter.
there's a certain
All right.
time.
So your deadline December
I would,
1st?
well, I would even say
November
like the end of
1st?
October. Because when we put them up there, we have to coat them.
And it has to be a certain temperature.
Yeah.
Okay.
The boy, could
We have Girl Scouts too that want to do it.
Yeah, we have groups.
And it might be, if you wanted to do one event, we could try to coordinate. I don't know how many people though.
Okay.
We've got 60 kids in our pack.
Whoa.
That's a lot. I am
So with one parent, that's 120 people. Not everybody will show up,
I mean,
but.
that is like the ultimate community project.
Yes,
right? Like
that's the
I am
thing.
So excited.
That's the thing.
We have to have photographers.
Yes, we have one.
Well, I've got 2 dens I gotta manage.
Well, the thing about stuff that big won't fit the fire station.
Can you put your
I
contact?
would think
down
we should
there?
try like Chili Fest. There's a lot of
Doing Leskies if they'll open
So many
early.
squares.
Well, we have our meetings.
We have 2 events.
But we could
October
do
10th,
it-
August 10th and then Chili Fest.
And you could do it in stages too, so we don't have the whole pack coming at
So
once.
this can
we
all be
have
worked out.
Yeah, we can work this out later.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
But now that I know that you're willing to go out into like October, that's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that it's up and
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
we can finish it to get it covered and.
By November 1st, Katie?
Yeah, I would say that's the latest.
Okay.
Okay, yay, that's a
Okay.
thrill. Okay, can we move on to community member updates? Well, that was one of them. Karen, do you want to, what you and Claire talked about maybe?
Well, I mean, we just talked about getting the arts consultant, really, and that was, we didn't know that it was already gonna be done
Funded.
deal. We were gonna get 50 grand for it, so we were just like going over what, Louisville had done, but basically they had, what we saw of value was that they did surveys, and they sent it out to the general public, and they sent it out to artists, and they said, what would you like to have in your community in terms of public art or art events? And at the same time, you say, these are things that we are interested in doing. Are these things of interest to you? And if not, what else would you like to see happen in your community? And those are surveys that would need to be sent out to the public. But we don't know if that's what the art consultant does as a part of
their package, but they had public meetings, they did email surveys, and
I'd suggest that subcommittee put a framework around what you want the art consultant to provide, right?
Almost like an
So,
RFP.
right,
We'll have
but
to
we
do-
don't really, it's hard to know. I mean, I don't really
I'm
know
happy
what they
to,
should
I'm
provide.
also, I'm term limited in November.
Yeah.
So I
You
need a
sound
place to
happy.
roost when I'm done. And so I'm happy to help with that
Oh,
whatever
great.
for a cultural arts
Great.
master plan. And I think, you know, you need to just generate ideas,
Yeah.
record them, because when a consultant comes in, the first question they're gonna ask is, what would you like to see? You know, they have all the expertise to help make it happen and to flesh out and contribute new ideas and all that, but
Right.
they're not gonna wanna come in and impose on you. They're gonna wanna see what you guys are already thinking, because you're already from this community.
You guys already have a lot of, you already have a vision of what it wants to look like. You just haven't, you know,
Right.
put it on crayon on paper. I mean,
Well, because who's doing, I thought you were doing master plan and Karen and Claire
we were
were
all
doing
kind of
cultural
looking-
arts district.
it's kind of the same thing though, the cultural.
Well, I was
arts
gonna be
district is
working
part.
with Kelly, for the main event. But
And Claire,
Can we have a separate pop-up meeting
yeah.
that we had publicly announced, where
Sure.
the whole focus is cultural arts master plan?
I think that's why.
I think that's a
And we
good
just
idea.
brainstorm.
Very good.
I like that.
Because it'll take a
And we have
lot
to
of
have
time.
Amy
Let me
post
know, I
it.
just need,
Separate
I
pop-up
need
or
to know like
main
4 days in
event?
advance.
Yeah, she's got to post
And an
guys.
agenda. I need an agenda.
So we got that clarified finally.
in
Just
August.
if every
In August
time
we'll do that.
2 or more people meet, meaning whenever, it's not just you, you let Katie know, and she puts out the required notice, which is no big deal.
Otherwise,
And that
you'll be
meeting is to
arrested.
brainstorm what we want.
What we want
See in
to,
it.
what we want to have,
You know.
utilize the art consultant
Okay.
for.
Okay.
We
the
were under
master
the impression
plan.
that he comes and he really gives us a vision and helps us to put together a plan.
Sure.
And
And that's right.
Is this what the 50 grand is for? So
Yes.
this is separate from the master, oh, okay, this is.
No, the 50,000 is for the master plan.
Yes,
Master
but it
plan
includes
plus the
art
cultural arts
consultant.
Yes.
district.
And so will the same person be doing both?
Possibly.
Okay,
We don't know.
okay.
Yeah, this is, you guys are creating history here.
Does,
We don't know.
2-second question.